Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Well, um, boy, oh boy. Um, Talk about a lot to take in. Every time I thought I was like, okay, I'm ready, then something else comes up. Then something else comes up. And what I was expecting to be just a day to report about how beautiful a night it was for Megan and all the ladies at the Indianapolis ballroom and everything. Well, I guess life had something else in store. Well, as you know, we have been saying for the longest, um, that race is a huge problem with that institution. And it didn't just start because of Megan. It's been something that has been going on for a long time where some very out of touch and not necessarily well meaning people have been a part of that institution. Some of them part of the family, that is the institution itself. And yet, people love to play the old obfuscation game where and did they really mean that, and oh, that's not what was meant. And of course they do the gaslighting and all that kind of stuff to try to throw you off and create doubt. And most times they're not really speaking to, let's say, us. The people that are the ones that on the receiving end of racism. They're usually trying to reassure those outside of the institution, to let them know that, no, we're not about that. And they always get it wrong, those people. um, but then sometimes things happen and it's just no way to escape the bitter, awful truth of it. So anyway, welcome to Royal Sussex. I'll do the best I can to explain things as I see it. But hello, Mary H. Connie Balmer. Thank you for staying up so late, Connie Balmer. And also Naomi Maria. Um, wow. So you've had a busy day, Naomi? Uh, Let me see. Naomi says, I've been scrolling YouTube since 4 a.m. this morning for Royal Sussex. And now you're here, Baron. I know your soothing voice is going to put me to sleep. Well, I am glad to be a part of your nighttime routine. Thank you so much for being here. Hello to Lydia Washington and Karen. Is that Karen I or Karen L? Rosanna Smith, TP, Philbin Joy, Shirley Kearney is here. Well, okay, but I tell you what, Naomi, what I'll do is I'll try to make it a point to schedule a time when it makes sense to do so. And today I waited and waited before I scheduled because I was trying to decide whether or not I needed to run an errand. But since I found out that they're open late today, that was all I needed to hear. Why do early in the day what you can put off until the last minute is what I always say. So that's what happened today. I was going to go and run an errand, but then I just didn't feel like it. Old Arthur started talking to me today. And if you are of a certain vintage, then you know exactly who Arthur is. Arthur is the first name, Ritus is the last name. So old Arthur Ritus started messing with me today. And I'm just like, I don't feel like it. So I said, well, you know what? Let me just go to work now. And then everything just kept coming and kept coming. I'm just like, wow, this is interesting. Hello to you, Catherine Bryan. Thank you so much for being here. Joan Garcia, Karen, and Elaine Parker. Hi, Favi Barron. Hello to Sharon Chung, Lucy Wynn. Thank you very much again for the wonderful gift. Let's see. Speaking of gifts, you guys, thank you so much for the things you have selected on the wish list. It is greatly appreciated. I am somewhat embarrassed by it, but since you guys asked about it, I did add some more things to the list. Remember, there's no obligation whatsoever, but it is always appreciated, and I do thank you. Okay, so all right, let's move on then because it is getting late for some of you guys, and I am very aware of that. So this was last night at the Indianapolis Convention Center, or was it at the JW Marriott Hotel? Either way, it was at a convention center. Our Duchess looked absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'm only going to share these photos from the stage. I did not like those photos that look like they used the long range lens when she was leaving. Oh my God, it just gave me the creeps because of the security concerns that we have been made aware of suddenly. And I am going to talk about that soon. But oh my God, those other images were very creepy. And you guys probably know the ones that I'm speaking of, and that's the ones from the parking garage. And of course, yes, she's a public figure. An assumption of privacy can't be guaranteed, et cetera, et cetera. But still, that really creeped me out. And then, if that's not enough, some um, idiot, okay, I shouldn't call that person an idiot because I don't know them, but somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody posted a screenshot from a Zoom call with Archie and Doria. And I'm just like, why do people keep doing that? Why do people keep doing that? So, those two things I'm not going to share, but yes, it is out there. I saw it on Twitter, and someone posted an image of Archie and Doria with Meghan on a Zoom call, which I think looked very inappropriate. And then, of course, the parking lot photos or parking garage, whatever it was, where Meghan was leaving the convention center. Oh my God, that just I got the weirdest feeling in my stomach when I saw those. And I don't know, it just seemed like one of those it wasn't I don't think it was appropriate, so I'm not going to share those either. Creepy, creepy, creepy. I don't like those kind of photos. Some just make me really uncomfortable and I just don't feel good about them. So, but that's just yeah, Daily Mail did block Archie's face, and they I won't say it's because they have a conscience. I will say it's because obviously they are getting a lot of pushback for some of the things that they are sharing where the Sussexes are concerned, in particular, where children are concerned, meaning, of course, Archie and Lily. So that was the wise thing to do, was to block that image because um what could I say? You're just going to um ask for trouble in the end if you don't. So that's the smart thing to do, is leave people's children alone unless it's some official function or something where there isn't an assumption of privacy, then fine. But given the security issues and stuff that they were talking about today, why would you post these photos of Meghan leaving a parking garage or some situation like that? It doesn't, well, you know what? I don't know. I'm not going to judge it. I'm just saying I didn't like it. So it just looks creepy, and just maybe because of the situation where a security person is saying, okay, the person in charge of terrorism and such for the UK, he was saying that, there's been these issues. And then, coincidentally, they post images of Meghan at a parking garage or wherever it was. And I'm just like, Okay, this is ill-timed, ill-conceived, and pretty creepy. So, again, I did not like those. God, that bothers me. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And also, you know what, guys? Since I was scrambling around trying to get ready, give me just a second. I don't know what made me think I could move that fast, but okay, I'm back. I don't know what made me think I could move that fast, but this old bag of bones was dipping and dodging and running. And anyway, I'm back. Okay, so thank you again, Elaine Parker, and also thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, all right, I'm just going to glance at a few of your comments before I go for it, but Lorna Williams says the woman that took over Hugo's channel had a post this morning with Archie's face blocked out. Meghan and Doria saying that Meghan is going to write a book about the monarchy, and I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. I mean, yes, she's going to write a book, but I, uh, you know what? Watch that channel if you will. I don't fool with that channel. Hello, Big Mama. I feel you, Baron Arthur. Don't play. Yes, arthritis. Arthur in the morning. That's right, Arthur in the morning. You have to take a good warm shower to try to loosen up. You have to take a good warm shower to loosen up. Works every time. And a little something something if you have it. Hello, V. Thomas. Welcome. All right, all right, all right. Let me see. I don't believe it either. Yeah. Until we you guys don't forget the golden rule. Please don't forget the golden rule. The golden rule is there are no leaks in Montecito. And also, the other golden rule is if you don't hear it from Meghan and Harry, then just assume it's not true. Again, if you don't hear it from Meghan and Harry, then assume it's not true. And, well, you know what? I'm not going to tell y'all what channels to watch, but okay, let's move on then. Okay. Oh, thank you, 1960. Unless we get it directly from Harry and Meghan, it's not true. Plus, they never announce things beforehand. Thank you. Thank you. I uh I knew I wasn't the only one that got that. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, let it come from Meghan and Harry. If it don't come from them, then it's not official. It may not be true. They time things when they want people to know it, if it's true at all. So, very good. All right. But here's the other photo from the event. There's only a handful, but here Meghan is looking quite elegant and chic, and you know she means business when she got that hair pulled back. When she pulls that hair back, she means business. And I love the fact that Meghan has a certain working look going on when she's trying to convey something to let people know that it's not about the ultra glamour and stuff like that. I'm here to work. And you know what? She's always been that way. Meghan has always been that way where when she comes to work, she comes to work. And whether that is assembling food at a shelter to pass out to people, or whether she's, here on the stage talking to a group of like-minded women. She has her working wardrobes and hairstyle and makeup, and it's all about business, not just put the focus on me, but let's uplift each other. So love that about her. And one more before we go on to another topic. And there she is. I forgot who mixed that outfit, but it is very, very elegant. Again, the working look that she has. Now, there's not a lot of photos from the event. There certainly aren't any audio or video just yet. And I'm thinking, well, you know what? I'm not sure which is which, or which one we're going to get. And can I just break character for a minute, because there is something that is tickling me so bad. Um, is it true from co-stars to more? Good Morning America, Amy Robach, and TJ Holmes? I'm like, what the what? Oh, okay. I just had to say that out loud. I'm not going to talk any further about it. I just had to say that out loud. But what the what? Oh, and you know what? I just noticed that Jill Biden and Meghan wore the same colors today. Yeah, if that is Jill with the same color on today, but yeah, very cool. Um So that was an Armani. I believe that was a Giorgio. Yeah, there it is. Giorgio Armani is the label that Meghan is wearing. Not that that's the important part of it, but just in case there is someone who likes Meghan's fashions, that is what she's wearing. Giorgio Armani. Notice that the shoes seem to be like a purple suede. Looks like a purple suede shoe. So that's it. I know it's a petty little thing, but just in case you're curious, Megan is wearing Giorgio Armani. Okay, so let's keep it moving. If you also noticed something, the color palette from last night, the purple, the white, and green. Well, that is the colors of the suffragette movement. Purple, white, and green. The colors of suffragette movement. If you notice, white chairs, purple background, and Megan is wearing green. So just saying those are the colors of the suffragette movement is purple, white, and green. And there you can see it. Deeds, not words. Votes for women. As you know, the suffragettes were struggling for the woman's right to vote at a time when women could be arrested just for showing their ankles. Or, yeah, can you believe that? Back in those Downton Abbey early days, the 1900s, it was that Edwardian period, right? 1901 to whenever, a woman couldn't even show her ankles. That was considered risque. And so that is the era of the suffragette movement. And as you can see, those are the colors which were used from last night's event. All right, so then let's get into this. Um, you're right, Mad World. Deeds, not words, should be applied to the royal family. I am unanimous in that. I agree with you 100. Okay. So here it says racism has no place in our society. Kensington Palace condemns unacceptable comments by Prince William's own godmother, Lady Susan. Is it Hussey? I hope I'm saying that right. Or is it Husey or Hussey? I'm just going to say Hussey. As she resigns from Buckingham Palace role as the King Charles breaks cover amid race row. Um, Lady Susan Hussey, 83, was Queen's lady in waiting, kept on by Queen Consort. And Ngozi Fulani, boss of London charity Sister Space, was at a reception yesterday. The Queen Consort held event as part of UN's 16 days against gender violence. Um, and it all started when she was asked where you're from, and she tried to tell her Hackney, but she wasn't picking up what she was putting down, and and you know what? I shouldn't even say that's where it started because um, if you are a woman of African descent, you know what really started this. She moved her hair to look at her name tag. Okay? She moved her hair. She touched her hair to look at the name tag. One more time. She touched her hair. So there you can see this conference, all these ladies there. It's pretty crowded. Everyone's talking and everything. But the lady encircled right there, as you can see, she's wearing her dreadlocks kind of, long. And right there in the photo, you can see her name tag. And, this person felt comfortable enough, Susan Hussey felt comfortable enough to just walk up and move her hair and ask her name and and she's like, where you from? And she's like, sister, whatever that thing is, sister. Wait. Let me see. Um, I'm so sorry for this, but yeah, she's from Sister Space. Yeah, so she tells her, I'm from Sister Space. Right there. Nadine White, as you know, I think she writes for the Independent. Nagazi Fulani tells me she hasn't heard from the palace and received apology. I'm sorry, she has not heard from palace, received apology after resignation of aide who made racially offensive remarks. Says incident evidence of racism in royal family calls for anti-racism training to be rolled out across royal households. Um, Makes a lot of sense. And of course, um, our roving reporter, Omid Scobie, says Buckingham Palace. Let me see, what does it say? We have reached. Oh, yeah, this is what's weird. Buckingham Palace claimed that they reached out to her on this matter and are inviting her to discuss all elements of her experience in person if she wishes. Not so, says Miss Filani, who tells Nadine Wright um, that she has yet to hear from anyone. So you have this contrast or contradiction, rather, where the royal family or the royal household says that they reached out to her with an apology and everything like that. And she's saying, no, that didn't happen. So, where that came from, that there was an apology to her, nobody knows where that came from. Now, someone's claiming to have apologized and that the royal family has reached out to her, and it did not happen. Strange. And of course, in these situations, I just wait. I buy my time until I hear from Dr. Shola. Listening to Nagazi Fulani on LBC now, and she says Buckingham Palace has not contacted her or apologized to her. But there was a statement from Buckingham Palace, and it says, "We take this incident extremely seriously and have investigated immediately to establish the full details in this instance. Unacceptable and deeply regrettable comments have been made. We have reached out to," see there, "we have reached out to Nagazi Fulani on this matter and are inviting her to discuss all elements of her experience in person if she wishes. In the meantime, the individual concerned would like to express her profound apologies for the hurt caused and has stepped aside from her honorary role with immediate effect. All members of the household are being reminded of the diversity and inclusivity policy which they are required to uphold at all times." Ha! As if that's the case. Now, that all sounds very good. The idea of diversity and inclusivity, that all sounds really good. But that hasn't been the case, and we know that that hasn't been the case. We know for sure that they have been lacking. They have been lacking that for quite some time. And we'd have to go back some years to show evidence that that has not been the case. Like, for instance, how about that long-standing policy that a person of color working within the royal household could only do so if they were cleaning? But any clerical work, any type of paperwork was not within their domain. They were restricted to cleaning, and that was it. Unless you're helping to keep the house, then you were not welcome to work there. Didn't matter your experience, you were not welcome to work there. Marjorie says this has been happening for centuries, but became blatant when Meghan married into the family. So the royal family will not apologize, as they are racist and it's in their DNA, so they can't get rid of it. Yeah, it has been happening for quite some time. It goes back for a long, long time. Um, okay. Oh wow, lots of comments, and I put it on a slow mo. Dr. Scholler says, BS. So Lady Susan Hussey got to resign instead of being fired for her racially motivated violation of Nagazi Fulani's sister space and interrogating her British citizenship. A public apology from her, Buckingham Palace, and personal one from the host, Queen Camilla, is a must. So, in other words, Dr. Scholler is saying, we want you to do more than just lip service. That is what Dr. Scholler is saying. Do more than just lip service. Lip service, that is, a formal apology, and of course, a personal one from Queen Camilla, which makes sense because Camilla was the host of the event. And so, if someone is offended at a gathering where you are hosting people, it only makes sense that you apologize. Oh, Callie Compton, Compton Callie Gal, I did see that last night. Stephen Colbert he said the quiet parts out loud. He did say that Will and Kate looked ridiculous, I believe was the word, that they were coming to the United States. Anyway, he showed a picture of William in a top hat and, Kate just being Kate. And he said that I believe the words that he said was that they looked ridiculous. I heard that in the monologue last night. Very funny. So, yeah, this has been happening for a long time, and they have been caught out, and now they are panicking because Will and Kate is in the United States, and they can't bear this type of embarrassment. It's bad enough that you go to Boston, which has a reputation among many people, white and black. As a matter of fact, of all people, Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, he will tell you in no uncertain terms that Boston is a very racist city and has been for a long time. I won't even say the name of the actor who got caught up in a thing in his youth where, as a kid, he was with other, young people, and they attacked an Asian person, I believe it was, and that person, I think, lost their eye or lost a vision in their eye or something like that. So, it can be a very tough place for a person of color. And out of all places in the United States that they would start this tour or have this event, they go to Boston, and I'm just like, that says a lot. That does say a lot. I won't even speculate what it says about them, but I guess they wanted to go someplace where they felt safe and obviously where they felt understood and a place where they knew that the money and the prestige would be. So they hitched their wagons to the Kennedy family. Oh, and you guys, I don't know if you saw that today. I don't want to jump over to that subject and talk about it too much. But the Daily Mail, with this idea that they're pitting one side of the Kennedy family against the other, is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But they're trying it anyway. So, oh my goodness. I'm going to let you listen to Stephen Colbert from last night, and I'll let you hear what he had to say about their visit himself. Here we go.
Hi, Paul. Staying overseas, there's news from across the pond, and it's that two people from across the pond are crossing the pond. I'm talking about the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Kate, seen here looking ridiculous. Tomorrow, Old England will head to New England, where Boston is excited for a royal visit from William and Kate. Yes, in the words of a famous monarchy-loving Bostonian, the British are coming. Yippee! The trip is William and Kate's first time in the U.S. in 8 years. It's such a big deal, royal staffers are calling it their Super Bowl. Wow, they are really pandering to the Americans. This voyage is our Super Bowl, our Toyotathon, our Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And so we raise our big gulps brimming with Diet Cola and ranch dressing, Tom Hanks. Upon their...
Okay, so that was brother Stephen Colbert from last night, expressing his lack of enthusiasm for the pending, or actually, they're here now, the royal visit. So I thought it was funny. And yes, I was right. That's exactly what he said, that they looked ridiculous. I screamed when I heard that, but that's what he said. He said they look ridiculous. Um, well, I mean, it's okay. They're here, and that's it. So, moving on. The king keeps on Queen Elizabeth II's lady in waiting, including Lady Susan Hussey. Notice the date. I put the date in a red box right there, and it says 27th November 2022. So today's the 30th, right? This is when it hit the fan. But up until, what was it, yesterday or the day before, they were still, acknowledging the fact that the ladies in waiting are staying, but they're not ladies in waiting, but they will give companionship to Queen Camilla when she's being Queen Camilla, but just don't call them ladies in waiting. Well, you know what? Not only have their positions really not changed, but their mentality has not changed. evident by this whole incident involving um the oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The name I gotta Nagazi Fulani. That whole incident is evidence that not a whole lot has changed. The king has decided to keep on a number of the Queen's Elizabeth II's lady in waiting, with the aides being rebranded as ladies of the household. Really? Ladies of the household? Does that sound any better? Ladies of the household? Oh my god. Um, what are you? A lady of the household? It sounds too much like some other term that is would be in poor taste to say, but okay. Instead of ladies in waiting, they have been modernized and rebranded ladies of the household. So Lady Susan Hussey, Mary Morris, and Dame Annabelle Whitehead will continue to work uh, will continue to work on with their work despite the death of their mistress in September. Good Lord. Okay. This is going from bad to worse. So there's the transcript. There's the transcript. However, some things to me always sound more interesting with an English accent. So because of that, I'm going to let you guys. Well, anyway, here you go.
Lady Susan Hussey, where are you from? Miss Fulani, sister space. No, where do you come from? We're based in Hackney. No, what part of Africa are you from? I don't know. They didn't leave any records. Lady Hussey went on. No, but what nationality are you? I am born here and am British. No, but where do you really come from? Where do your people come from? My people, lady, what is this? Lady Hussey, oh, I can see I'm going to have a challenge getting you to say where you're from. When did you first come here? Miss Fulani, lady, I am a British national. My parents came here in the 50s. Oh, I knew we'd get there in the end. You're Caribbean. No, lady, I am of African heritage, Caribbean descent, and British nationality.
I told you it always. I knew we'd get here in the end. I. It's like Archie Bunker has arisen. It is like Archie Bunker is alive and well and living inside of Lady Hussey. Um, oh my God. I mean, you just could not make this up. So, racism has no place in our society. Prince William condemns unacceptable comments by his own godmother, Lady Susan Hussey, as she resigns from Buckingham Palace role after asking British black charity founder if she was from Africa. Prince William's grandmother stepped down from royal role amid accusations. Well, let me see. Is the date on that one? Because, oh, well, that is obviously from today. But yeah, it just seems like just the other day they were telling people, oh, yes, she is. Matter of fact, what am I saying? I actually was going to talk about it. And then I said, nah, this ain't even worth mentioning. Well, I didn't know that this was coming down the pike. And there you can see on the left side, there is there is Queen Camilla with Lady Hussey. But look at the other one with the glasses on. She kind of looked like she keep a flask in her purse, don't she? I don't know who the other lady is, the one that's not wearing the sash. But yeah, she kind of looks like she keeps a little flask in her purse, like she got some rheumatoid medicine somewhere. because it looks like she's leaning and about to fall over on Lady Hussey. Like, oh Lord. Anyway, and then of course, you can see in the middle, there she is walking behind the queen as she's been in service to that family for 60 years. And then there she is on the right side wearing that black hat and standing against that wall. I swear, if I didn't know that that was from the Remembrance Day, it almost looks like Lady Hussey went and got booked and printed and like they arrested her or something. I mean, it's just funny that that photo looks like a mugshot, but clearly you can see from the photo beneath it that that is actually Remembrance Day. But yeah, she looks like some old lady got caught at the Safeway or the Piggly Wiggly trying to steal some pickled pig feet or something. But yeah, it's just kind of funny that it looks like that. And so, of course, just to make it seem even worse, some of the tabloids have been running that photo, making it look like a mugshot. Oh my God, this is too much. This is too much. Queen's longtime aide warned Harry and Meghan's marriage would all end in tears. The comment from Lady Susan Hussey, who has been a lady in waiting to the Queen since the 60s, have been revealed in explosive new book about the Sussexes. Now, that was just back in July. That was in July. And then take a look on the right side. That is from what is that? Oh yeah, that's as recent as this week, as a matter of fact. Um November 28th. They're saying that she's staying on, right? Now this is the lady who helped with what's his name? Valentine Lowe. She helped Valentine Lowe with that book from what I hear. um, Allegedly, she actually said that the relationship was going to end in tears. As a matter of fact, as you can see, one of the squaddies even says there, royal aide who racially abused black woman is Prince William's godmother. She recently attacked Meghan in Valentine Lowe book. I wonder if the royal family will apologize to Meghan. So, um, this is just part of a much larger story. And you guys, I don't know how much news that you guys have been watching today, but on social media, this is everywhere. This is everywhere. Susan Hussey allegedly said Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage will end in tears. There's another story. And here on the right, King Charles retains courtier who said Sussex marriage will end in tears. So the connection between the two was already known before this race row even came about. There you go. Really? I didn't even notice that. Yes, please, you guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. What do we want? Likes. When do we want it? Now. Who do we want? Just hit the like button. Thank you, Lydia. I didn't feel like trying to get myself all worked up. But yeah, please hit the like button, you guys. And then there's this one right here. So, prominent Black advocate for survivors of domestic abuse, Ngozi Fulani, says she was asked by a member of the palace household where she really came from. That's the part that gets me. Where did you really come from? You can't. You just can't. You simply can't be British. So where did you really come from? You just can't. You can't be British. Where did you really come from? Oh, really? So, anyway, I got a little audio to share with you where that is concerned. So let me grab that for you right now. Here we go. Here we go. I got a couple of audios for you guys today. So be prepared to.
Just in the last few hours, Buckingham Palace have put out a statement, haven't they? And they've said that the member of staff concerned has stepped aside and has offered her profound apologies. They also go on, the palace, to say that they take the incident extremely seriously. They've described the comments as unacceptable and deeply regrettable. Are you reassured at all by that reaction?
You know, not really, because actually, I don't want to see her step down. I want to see her step up. I want to see all of them step up. I want to see the royal household as a whole acknowledge that institutional racism is part of the culture, and I want to see them tackle that head on. I think zooming in on this one individual doesn't really bring any comfort. It reminds me of the whole bad apples narrative. It reminds me of the whole, okay, let's treat this as an isolated incident and move on from it approach to dealing with these issues. And I think what's needed is something bigger, something more substantive, and something that really meets the scale of how these incidents play out, what they represent and what they mean for people in this country, like myself, like Ngozi, who do belong here, who are British, but aren't necessarily received as such.
And when you say you think there's an issue of institutional racism, when you hear then Buckingham Palace also saying that all members of the household are being reminded of diversity and inclusivity policies, does that go any way towards meeting your concerns?
It's important that they've got policies. It's important that people are reminded of them. But what's more important is the culture within the institution. What's more important is what people experience day to day. We have heard Meghan Markle.
Oh, I think that's it. All right. Was that it? Yes. No, let's see.
That perhaps introducing that sort of training, the breadth and depth of work that needs to be done. And I think Ngozi herself and her organization have a lot of experience to offer here. They do cultural competence training for the Met Police, for example, to help them understand how better to deal with Black women who are survivors of domestic abuse. I think the royal household need to acknowledge that perhaps introducing that sort of training would be a meaningful first step towards taking their institution, their organization on a journey to handling these kind of things a whole lot better.
All right. So there you go. So that was on today. That was on Sky News. And I think her name is Mandu Reid. Mandu Reid says she believes Meghan Markle's claims of racism is in the royal household has been validated. Okay, I believe that's her name. So I see there is a super chat, and I did run in the kitchen and grab one of those Mrs. Fields cookies that someone has blessed me with. Thank you so much for the Mrs. Fields cookie. I'm not sure who to thank because it didn't come with a thank you note, but I just want you to know I did receive it. Lorna Williams, red decor, gold pianos, ladies of the household. It does kind of seem like one of those parlors. It does kind of have that kind of speakeasy look to it. Yes, that name, the name, and yes, I get it. Thank you so much for that. The ladies of our household. Yeah, right. But yes, thank you, Lorna Williams. And thank you so much for the super chat and the lovely laugh, of course. But yes, the ladies of a household. But yeah, that name is not helpful for them, but I digress. Okay, so one more. I hope the sound does not buffer, but nobody from the palace has spoken to me, says Nagazi Fulani. So, in that vein, here we go. I hope it doesn't buffer, but you could hear her words.
Tell me how you feel about the palace saying, you know, they've asked if you wish to come and talk it through in person.
Nobody from the palace has spoken to me. I don't know what anyone's talking about. I have not been in direct communication, unless they've spoken to somebody from Sister Space, like a member of staff. I personally have had no conversation with anybody from the palace. I don't know about an invitation.
Well, let me read this out so people know. This is from the palace statement. We have reached out to Ngozi Fulani on this matter and are inviting her to discuss all elements of her experience in person if she wishes.
Right. I mean, like I said, I'm about positive solution. This is 16 days of activism, and I am not going to contradict what we're about at Sister Space. So, of course.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. It buffered. It buffered toward the end. So let me go back.
And all that kind of stuff. That has nothing to do with me. And to be honest, I don't feel good about that, because I think apparently she's been there for years. She's an elder, and in my culture, we respect our elders. And so this does not please me. And I would be satisfied if she was either removed to another position, but to leave under those circumstances in these 16 days kind of defeats the whole object to me.
Would you I don't know whether she is offering this, but from what the palace statement has said, that's not clear. But would you happily have a conversation with her about it?
I don't think it's my role, to be honest. I bear no malice, but I don't think it's my role. She's not employed by me. I think the palace needs to ensure that the staff, when I came in and everybody else, of course you get searched because you want to make sure there's no danger to the staff. But what about the danger to us who attended? That's what needs to happen. So conversations need to be held with the relevant people so that this kind of thing does not happen again.
Okay, so there you go. She was so gracious and still very, very much polite about it in spite of everything. Ngozi Fulani was very gracious and very polite about it. I don't know that a lot of people in that circumstance would have, but obviously she does not have an axe to grind. She's not out to get someone. She wants this to be recognized. She wants there to be sensitivity training. She's not asking for someone's head on the platter. She didn't necessarily want the person to be removed. She just wants there to be a conversation. She wants her experience recognized. I'm sure she'd appreciate an apology too, but this was supposed to be a safe space. She was invited. And she wasn't invited there to be humiliated. And so, as she said, it's not my place to instruct her or teach her or try to tell her anything. This is for the household to do, not for me, which I thought was brilliant because, yeah, why should you have to be the one to have gone through what appears to be a form of racial abuse, and then you have to try to teach the person who has created this hostile situation. You're the one who's obliged to teach them, oh, that's not how you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to act. No, she doesn't want to do that. She was a guest. She didn't go there to work. This is what she does all outside of that palace, away from that palace. She's already helping and mentoring and educating. Why does she have to go there for a night to relax or afternoon to relax, a luncheon or whatever this gathering was called? Why should she have to go there and continue to work when she's supposed to be there to enjoy fellowship? So, yeah, I can understand her not wanting to be the one to have to go and explain no, this is not how you treat people. This person should have known that, but at the start, from the beginning. Um, it, where are you from? No, 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 no. Where are you from? Yeah, 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 yeah. But where are you from? How awkward is that? Leg says, let's see. I wonder if she would have gone full blown racist and wear that damn royal insignia from Jamaica and a blackamoor brooch if it wasn't highlighted. Like a combination Princess Michael of Kent and a clueless courtier. But yeah, it's a good question, Legs. Exactly. If this wasn't 2022, how much further would this offense have gone? Thank you so much for your comment. And I'm scrolling down because there's another super chat. Hi, Baron. The only way I can chat is via super chat. Colorless, I'm sorry to hear that. I would say make sure that you are that you are a subscriber. But if you have subscribed and unsubscribed and then subscribed again as recently as a week ago, then you may not be able to chat directly. That's the only problem that I could see as a possibility. Otherwise, I don't believe you're blocked at all, but I do appreciate the super chat, but I'm sorry that that's happening. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what could be the problem aside from the fact that only subscribers who have been subscribed for a week or longer are able to chat. So again, I'm sorry that that's happening for you. Okay. And oh, by the way, thank you for being a member and watching Royal Sussex. So here you have the old gray lady. Now, the vein of the tabloid news existence. Now, when I say the old gray lady, I am not talking about this one because she still uses that color that does not exist in nature. I ain't talking about this one. She ain't here no more. When I mean the old gray lady, I am speaking of the New York Times. The New York Times is, as I have said so many times, it is one of the most prestigious newspapers ever. The New York Times has been nicknamed the Old Gray Lady because their accuracy and fairness is, legendary. They have broken huge stories. And yes, there was a time when, they were not always so great. But over time, they have proven themselves again and again. I actually have a subscription to the New York Times. And so that's one of those papers that I love because I know the tabloids hate them. I mean, the tabloids have accused the New York Times of being anti-British, anti-Queen, anti all kind of things. And they swear that the New York Times is just this woke newspaper that's out to get them. So because they are the enemy of my enemy, I call them friend. I call them my friends. Anyway, the New York Times, they have actually caught hold of this story and they are, going to be one of the many, many news agencies to help spread this story about racism in Buckingham Palace. Now, I'm not saying that with a tone of glee in my voice because this is one of the most widely read newspapers and one of the most respected newspapers in the world. Yes, I am. I'm. Woo! Yes, get them, New York Times. But yeah, I am glad that they have caught hold of this story because when the New York Times is talking about it, then that just that just gives the story that much more traction. So I'm just saying it does not behoove me to know that the New York Times has decided to take this story and run with it. I cannot tell you how many times that, say, the Daily Mail, among other tabloid papers, have accused the New York Times of having it in for the royal family or trying to destroy the monarchy. But on occasion, they have, gone there, and the New York Times, they pay them no attention whatsoever. They just, keep doing what they do best, and that is telling the news as they know it, or should I say, reporting the news as they know it. So, yeah. So if you guys are wondering, well, how big is this? I'm telling you, the New York Times has caught hold of it. So, yeah, that's big. That makes it huge, as I say with a tone of glee in my voice. That means it's just big. All right. So there you have it. And poor Queen Elizabeth is being pulled into this race row, seeing that was her lady in waiting. Like right here, Tom Leonard wrote, "We're so racist, we drove out Meghan Markle." So the New York Times, Tom Leonard had wrote an article back in February 22 where they were criticizing the New York Times for calling out the British royal family as racist. And then here's another one. Why does America's smuggest newspaper have such a pathological loathing for Britain? We dine out on boiled mutton. The economy is falling apart, and we're so racist we drove out Meghan Markle. Tom Leonard examines another New York Times howitzer. And then the story goes down and says, the hot-headed reporter in the latest latest edition of the of Serial to hit the U.S. true crime podcast run by New York Times can hardly contain his fury about. Anyway, it's a screenshot, so I don't know what the rest of the story was, but again, that was Tom Leonard of the Daily Mail attacking the New York Times. So I'm sorry that I'm laughing about this because this is not funny. Someone has been terribly offended at Buckingham Palace, and I'm not making light of it, but I love seeing the headline, Buckingham Palace staff member resigns over remarks to Black guests. Thank you, New York Times. The old gray lady has spoken. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. I saw that one already. I'm scrolling. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Khalil Simile, thank you so much for the super chat. And also, thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you ever so kindly for being a member. Still a value at only $4.99. And Anna Boyd, thank you for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Wednesday to you. And thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, and Marsha says, so happy that an American papers are blasting this racist news that precedes Baltimore and Botox. Baltimore and Botox, I love it. Visit to the U.S. He. American reporters may ask them. Yes! I forgot about that. American reporters may ask them about their racist lady hussy. Marshar, you always have a way of helping me see the brighter things in life, the silver lining in the clouds. You are so right about that. Oh, when they ask Mumbles a question. Ooh, when they ask Mumbles a question, it ain't gonna be nothing nice. Oh yeah, they're gonna be hiding under Plymouth Rock. Where are they? Oh gee, where did they disappear to? Oh dear. Lordy have mercy. This is just a mess, ain't it? This is just a mess. And all we did was wake up today hoping to see some lovely photos of Meghan from last night, and this happened. There is just no accounting for poor taste. This happened. That's all we wanted, you guys, was just to fawn over those photos of Meghan at the event and talk about it and what did she wear, who else was there, but instead we are dining on the shortcomings of that institution. This is, well, you know what they say, strong back, soft front. So while we are able to carry the burden of defending our faves, we are still open to love and show graciousness and respect where it has been earned. So, strong back, soft front. And also, Meghan has pointed it out that what didn't you do to bury me? But you've forgotten that I was a seed. So, um, that as they reap, so shall they sow. Okay, let's move on then. And so, right here, royal family consider diversity czar under modernization plan. Buckingham Palace acknowledges more needs to be done after reviewing policies and procedures. Now, that was as of March 2021, right? More needs to be done. But if you look over here to June 2021, Buckingham Palace has no plans to hire diversity czar as previously reported. And again, thank you to the Sussex squad on Twitter for pulling out these receipts, which I have since saved myself. But one more time, Buckingham Palace said they were going to hire a diversity czar, and then within a couple months, that whole idea was dropped. Buckingham Palace is not currently looking to hire a diversity chief, despite reports earlier this year that suggested that the firm was keen to bring someone on board to oversee diversity issues. Isn't that a kick in the rubber parts? Isn't it? That is a kick in the rubber parts. First, you say you're going to bring on a czar back in 2021, and then a couple months later, no, that ain't going to happen. Now, what changed in just a few months that you are as much admitting there's a problem, only for you to turn around and say, nah, not so much? What has changed? What has changed? Did something all of a sudden happen where this is unnecessary? I think not. Something has gone terribly wrong in that institution, and they just do not want to owe up to it. And then, of course, people are commenting about the blinding speed in which the palace reacted to this unfortunate situation. Now, let's take a little walk back in history. Highgrove secretary claims racial abuse by Prince Charles' staff. A black former secretary to the Prince of Wales at his country home in Gloucestershire told an employment tribunal yesterday that she left after being racially abused by other staff. Other staff, of course, meaning Michael Forsyth, the infamous Michael Forsythe. Michael, I started here when I was 19 years old with no discernible qualifications. Forsythe, that one. 19-year-old Michael Forsythe started working at for the royal family. He has no qualifications. He's never been to university. He's good with enforcing the will of his employer, meaning Prince Charles. And Michael Forsythe's name also came up with the cash for honors. This is a pretty shady character. And he's the one that has been accused of racially abusing the secretary. A black former secretary. This was in the Guardian, by the way. Let me see. When was this in the Guardian? This was in 2001. The 7th of December, 2001. How much has changed? Not much. A black former secretary to Prince of Wales at his country home in Gloucestershire told an employment tribunal yesterday that she left after being racially abused by other staff. Elizabeth Burgess, 39, who had worked part-time at the Prince's Highgrove estate near Tetbury for 10 years, broke down in tears as she claimed that the Prince's valet, Michael Fawcett, had called her a effing N-word typist. She resigned from her job in March, but is claiming constructive dismissal because of abuse she claims she suffered. Miss Burgess of Bristol was asked by Adam Tolley, the Prince's solicitor, whether she had ever made a formal complaint about her treatment. She replied, weeping, "It just brings back all sorts of memories. One time we were in the dining room and we were talking about the Office Bible. The policy and procedures document is called the Office Bible," she says, and that we were working on as I left, Fawcett said, "What the hell would you know about? You're just a effing N-word typist." As he said, the door opened behind me and I heard Prince of Wales called Michael, and he just flushed and ran into the office. Oh, okay. So she claimed that she told Amanda Yaxley, Highgrove personnel officer, about the incident and had been told to make sure that she had a witness. Oh my God. All right. But she did not think anyone would do anything about it because we all knew that the prince adored Michael and would not listen to anyone else. So there was no point in making a complaint because nothing would be done about it. I mean, you guys think about that. Michael Fawcett working directly with Prince Charles, the power dynamic in this situation, I would not blame her for being afraid. How could you blame her for being afraid? We all have witnessed Prince Charles's temper after he was made king, after he, ascended to the throne with the I cannot say it without laughing, but with the exploding pen. We have all seen Prince Charles's temperament. And so is it any chance that someone like this secretary could ever feel the strength within her to make a complaint about someone that Prince Charles obviously adores? Now, there has been speculation about their relationship in this way and that way. He's like a henchman. They seem oddly close to each other, etc., etc. And then there were accusations made against Michael Fawcett by a former male member of the household who said that he was abused by Michael Fawcett. I'll let you read about that yourself. But so there's at least 2 incidents that we know of where the finger was pointed at him for being abusive. Now, after 10 years of working, and going through this level of abuse, and I, like so many people, when you're in a job and you have invested into insurance, into a retirement fund or something like that, sometimes it's just not that easy to walk away from, especially when you have a family to care for. And so it's always the idea, well, why didn't the person just leave? But it's just not that easy. It is not that easy, especially when you have built that type of equity into your workplace. You just don't want to just, uproot and go. But at some point, it was over for her. So again, that article is in The Guardian. If you'd like to see it for yourself, there is the title. That is the easiest way to find it. Highgrove Secretary claims racial abuse by Prince Charles staff. And you can see that article for yourself. All right. And then you see this. ABC, Buckingham Palace spokesperson, of course, issued this statement. It's the same one from earlier. We take this incident extremely seriously. This is how big this is. This is the storm that the Cambridges are walking into. It's not so dissimilar. I'm sorry. It's not much different, should I say, dissimilar or different from before the trip to the Caribbean, when, of course, William, who suffers from foot and mouth disease, said that thing about, oh, this is not exactly how we expect things to go in Europe. In other words, Africa and Asia, yeah, you expect war, but not here in Europe, not us good old white folks. That's what Martin Luther Cambridge said, is that you don't expect war like in Ukraine to happen in Europe. He thought that something like that is something you would only see in Africa and Asia. And so, armed with those racist words, and of course, before that, there was the thing about the flying people out of the UK because of their immigration status, people who had came over on the Windrush and their ancestors, they were trying to put them out of the country, and they stopped the flights until that visit was over. So these tours by the Cambridges are always going to have bad luck. They are always going to happen at a time when racism seems to be on the menu of the day. So Elizabeth Burgess, 39, who had worked part-time at the Prince's Highgrove estate near Tetbury for 10 years, broke down in tears as she claimed that the Prince's valet, Michael Fawcett, had called her you see it on the screen. That had to have been incredibly, incredibly painful. And, after something like that happens, it's just amazing how fast they can get you out the door one way or the other, whether you quit or whether you're fired. But at a certain point, the embarrassment or the alarm, the concern is so deep that the victim is usually the one that has to go, not the perpetrator. Duchess of Cornwall breaks down in tears after hearing women's stories of domestic abuse. Well, isn't that a fine how do you do? So all of this is because the Duchess of Cornwall has been trying to hitch her wagon to a cause to make her seem more kinder and more genteel. like yanking a child by her sleeve, and no, that's not the image that we're supposed to see. We're supposed to see this very concerned, top of the aristocratic pyramid, a queen consort, a minister of state, someone who can stand in for her husband, the king, in case he's ill, someone who could assist him as he heads the Church of England. Yes, his former mistress is there to aid him as he heads the Church of England as king, and her, of course, as queen consort. This is the woman who made Princess Diana's life a living hell. Someone who, along with Charles III, formerly the Prince of Wales, of course, someone who conspired, someone who helped write this narrative of how mentally unstable Princess Diana was. I mean, of course, being humiliated on a daily basis by your husband and your mistress, well, who wouldn't be a little, uh, uh, pushed back by something like that, or who wouldn't have a disposition go into a downward spiral? Who wouldn't be a little paranoid knowing that your husband, who is so powerful that someone hesitated to complain about being racially abused within earshot of the Prince of Wales? This woman was literally racially abused. Maybe Charles heard it, maybe he didn't, maybe he has selective hearing. So certainly, if Princess Diana could not survive the humiliation that surrounded the royal household with Prince Charles, what could a secretary do? Oh man, I mean, when you think about it, it just gives you chills. And of course, I have to say that one of my favorite things about that trip to the women's shelter was that face, that silky chicken face. It was worth everything. It was worth everything to see Camilla, the silky chicken. I'm just saying. She was so torn up about the stories from those women that she literally turned into a silky chicken. Uh, so if you're wondering where that image originates, that was because of her trip to a shelter for abused women. That was her attempt to show humanity, even though she seemed to be quite a bit the source of abuse herself. But so Dr. Scholler says Queen Consort Camilla was instrumental in destroying Princess Diana's marriage to King Charles and instrumental in elevating Angela Levine, Meghan Markle hater, as her biographer. No plausible deniability. Connect the dots. That's Prince Harry's mother and wife. If Harry speaks. If Harry speaks. Connects the dots. And so, yeah, that was a very powerful tweet by Dr. Scholler, and also very true. This is a woman who has been instrumental, along with Charles III, has been very instrumental in destroying the life of Princess Diana, destroying her life, destroying her will, trying to undermine her intelligence. And of course, one of the tropes that they used was that she's crazy. And you know what, you guys, when somebody is repeatedly trying to create this narrative about how crazy you are, run. You better run, because you may not have much time to do it. As evident, King Charles' 3-day visit to Canada in May of 2022 cost the taxpayers $1.4 million, or $25,000 an hour. That trip to Canada, where he and Camilla laughed at the natives, and where they tried to downplay all of the children that disappeared, in that is the native indigenous children that disappeared. That cost a whopping $25,000 an hour for them to take that show on the road. And then there's this. So yesterday, I thought for sure that this was all there was to talk about. I thought this was it. I thought we just talk about this, and we talk about Meghan at the event, and we're good, you know. So this right here was just what I wanted to finish with yesterday. Open with Meghan at the event, which I was hoping that there would be more, you know, material to share, and then to finish off with this and maybe a couple of other things. But no, that's when this other stuff happened, and we never got. Hi, official Lauren Brown. I just noticed you here. I'm just talking and talking. Let me see. You said King Charles III is very expensive, and what money does he bring to the places he visits, really? They take. They are parasites of humanity. They don't bring anything. They are supposed to bring a bit of stardust, but mostly they just bring dust. But that's enough about Sophie Wessex. Oh man. Okay, so this guy right here, he was actually the chief in charge of terrorism. That was his position. He was there to oversee the terrorism task force. And so he was on, and you know what? I'm so embarrassed. Let me see. I forgot his name. I thought it was on the oh boy, where is his name at? Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, there it is. Wait, I don't have his name anywhere. Counterterrorism. Oh, you know what? I do have it. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, you guys. Sometimes I do everything but include the name. I am getting very bad with that. Okay, so I'm going to let you hear his own words in case you haven't seen this yet. It was a news report on Channel 4, and his name is Neil Bassi. That's his name. Former head of the counterterrorism for the Met Police, Neil Bassi. And thank you, nobody, for putting that on the screen. I got it. I told you I got it. All right. So hopefully this doesn't buffer like the other stuff that I shared with you guys. But lately my computer has been buffering a lot. But his name is Neil Bassi. And he tells us, Kathy Newman, about the disgusting and very real threats Prince Harry and Meghan Markle faced. This is a very short one, about a minute.
You were in charge of royal protection. How would you characterize the threats that Meghan and Harry received?
Well, disgusting and very real. I've talked publicly for many years about the threat of extreme right-wing terrorism in this country. I've often been misquoted as taking my eye off the ball, as though I think that was the biggest threat. I've never called it the biggest threat, but it was the fastest growing. You know, and my wonderful friend and counterpart at MI5 will tell you exactly the same thing, that when I started in CT in 2015, counterterrorism, it was about 6% of our total workload. Certainly when I left 15, 16 months ago, it was over 20% of our workload.
But there were many serious, credible threats against Meghan, were there, emanating from the far right?
Absolutely. If you'd seen the stuff that was written and you were receiving it, the kind of rhetoric that's online, if you don't know what I know, you would feel under threat all of the time.
So you were convinced that there was a genuine threat to Meghan's life on on more than one occasion, on several occasions?
We had teams investigating it. People have been prosecuted for those threats.
Okay, so it is part of a much longer interview. I think in all it may have been anywhere between 11 to maybe 14 minutes long. So when I saw this, I thought that would be all that we talked about, other than the event in Indianapolis. Boy, was I wrong. But he said what he said, that disgusting and very real, the threats. And this explains so much of what the Sussexes have been going through for a very long time. And I have not only said this about the Sussexes, but anytime I discuss the life of someone in the public, one of the things that I'm very aware of is that people in the public eye are threatened all the time, and especially when it comes to anyone who is liberal leaning or left of center with their political points of view, anyone who has been demonized by the tabloid press or Fox News or anything to do with the Murdochs or something like that. If anybody is mentioned in the same conversation with a George Soros, then obviously you are going to live a life under threat. And this has been going on for a long time, probably even before the marriage took place. Prince Harry has been called a race traitor. He has been targeted because of his service in Afghanistan. And then, if that's not enough, with him having a mixed race wife, a African American mother-in-law, and of course, 2 children of mixed race heritage, then obviously there are certain people that have been arrested and people who have made threats, and they had actionable intelligence, very important word, actionable intelligence, that there were particular threats that could have done harm to the Sussexes. And so Meghan at one point, she says, well, if you can't protect me, please protect my husband. Don't worry about myself or the child. Just protect my husband. He's the one who has the greater threat. Well, that may or may not have been true, but, just out of desperation, obviously, the Duchess of Sussex was just hoping and praying that at least Harry would have had some protection, if not the whole family. And so, in order to make sure that they were stripped of their protection and that it would stay permanently removed, then the tabloids went on this relentless campaign where they talked about the Sussexes' protection day and night, night and day. Who's going to pay for it? Where is it going to come from? It's going to be so expensive. They only have X amount of money. They won't be able to afford it. Canada shouldn't have to pay for it. And then Donald Trump chimes in, we're not going to pay for it. If you don't talk about protection with the rest of the royal family to the point where you don't even mention in the budget how much you're spending to protect them, why would you allow this speculation to go on for months about someone that you have taken protection from? One more time. You won't say how much it costs the rest of the family, but you will make it very clear that the Sussexes do not have protection. And then, while the newspapers are going on and on about how much it costs, you don't pick up the phone, you don't dispatch an aide, you do absolutely nothing, and you leave them to wither on the vine under the threat of being attacked by some crazy person or some person with whatever agenda, and you say nothing. There was never any words mentioned about protecting the Sussexes. The only thing that was made clear is that the protection is taken away. And then, if that's not enough, you are working with people in the tabloid media who actively disparaged and attacked the idea that anyone would protect them. And enters Tyler Perry, someone who doesn't even know them, who offers to help someone outside of the family. And as we always hear this idea of British excellence, Britain won't even protect a member of the royal family living abroad because he's no longer drinking the Kool-Aid. That says a whole lot. And so as we watch the decline of the House of Windsor, as we watch the royal family lose its grip on power in that country, I have to say, I will not shed a tear because it's only what they deserve. Anytime you have a Black woman who has been left exposed and unprotected in such a way in the world that we live in, what are you asking for? What is it you want for her? It can't be anything good. It cannot be anything good. If it wasn't for Tyler Perry, as the Sussexes have said, we don't know what we would have done. We don't know. We just didn't know. Tyler Perry's security, Tyler Perry's jet before the borders closed, Tyler Perry's house. Without Tyler Perry, things could have gone terribly wrong. Tyler Perry's jet, security, and house to someone from the House of Windsor. That is about as twisted as you can get. That with all the wealth, with all the security that they do not even pay for. Prince Charles has paid for security for Camilla before before she got royal protection. So that's not unheard of. Harry can't even come home to his nation of birth because you want him to feel too unsafe and too insecure to visit. And so if there's any necessity where he just has to be there, he's on his own. Essentially, you are trying to ban and bar him from entering the United Kingdom under fear of death. Under fear of death. And we're all supposed to celebrate that Prince Charles said, oh, but we love Meghan and Harry, whatever love is. Oh, we love them. And we're going to, hope that that's his benevolent rise to power was how much we love Harry and Meghan. You can't love them that much if you're going to leave them open and exposed. And that's exactly what happened. Charles could have picked up that phone I'm not even going to put it on the Queen because the Queen was obviously, she had other stuff going on. How long that was going on and how long she knew, we don't know. But Charles has really been in charge for a long time. And those courtiers have been answering to him for quite a bit of time. And as we know from Sophie Wessex and Edwina, that even then, with the title of the Duke of Edinburgh, they consulted Charles and got his opinion and that of Phillips and the Queen. And this was back in 1999. Well, it's 2022. Charles has done nothing from then to now but rise in power, even while his mother was still alive. There were so many things where he was calling the shots. And so to give him cover, they made us believe that it was coming from his mother when so much of this stuff happened because of his input. So a Black media mogul with all of his connections and power and everything, he was the one who stepped in where Harry's family should have stood up and stepped in. But someone outside of that family had to do it. And they are not the least bit embarrassed by that. They are not embarrassed at all. Not only are they not embarrassed, they don't even care. They don't care about any of this stuff because it's been 1,000 years of the royal household, and they don't assume that anything sticks. They don't care. They want this visit to the U.S. to go without a hitch. They want to make sure that they look good. They want to make sure that they get the photos with the mayor of Boston. There's the rumor about meeting up with the Bidens and all of these things. They're scrambling. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they're scrambling to make sure that Bedknobs and Broomsticks meets up with Joe Biden while Biden is campaigning for someone. And believe me, they are going to move heaven and earth to try to make that possible, pulling every little string they can to make sure that they meet up, because this is all a long photo op. But while they're smiling and grinning, as mentioned before, they can't control the American press. And the American press is going to do what they do, and they are going to ask questions. And I hope that the opportunity is taken and that they ask questions about things that's going on at home, because there's a lot to unpack and they're not going to be able to run away from this one. Leg says Tampon had never to wish them the what is that, the best for their lives in the US. He can stuff it because basically everything we tried to make you sink, or should I say make it stick, didn't work. Yeah. Or everything we tried to make you sink didn't work. Absolutely. Yeah, they tried to destroy the Sussexes. They tried to create an atmosphere where nobody wants to work with them, where nobody wants to be seen with them. They tried to vilify them as much as possible. And then you have Tom Bauer says, well, it's Meghan I'm after. It's Meghan I'm after. This idea of never complain, never explain, except for when you really feel like it's necessary. If you want to save yourself, you better start explaining. Because in the US, we explain everything. We don't just, we explain stuff. It might work over there, but that sense of deference does not exist here. Thank you so much, Legs. And where are we? Pomerose says that Tyler Perry connection slipped right under the radar. That's smooth navigating. Family had to help them. She was so isolated by them. No one thought that she still had family. Wrong. Exactly. And as a matter of fact, it reminds me of so many times when people underestimate people they look down upon. And so they were so convinced that Meghan had no connections, didn't know anybody, and didn't have any resources whatsoever. And it turns out that there has been so many people that have understood and have been reaching out to them every step along the way. Every step along the way, there was someone who knew the story and understood exactly what was going on. And it's just like when Hillary Clinton said, yeah, I believe it was racism. It's just that simple. Instead of dancing around it, Hillary Clinton just said, yep, racism. It was just that simple. No pretense. She's been in the palaces and the castles as First Lady, as Secretary of State, and she didn't hesitate to say, yep, it was racism. And that's it. Hillary has been vetted so much, she's not afraid of the royal family. There are some people who are, but she's not. There's nothing they haven't done to her. So, yeah, it was just that simple. So, yeah, thank you so much, Pomerose, for your comment. And thank you so much for the super chat and watching Royal Sussex. But, yeah, it was just that simple. Instead of pretending otherwise, just call them out. I don't know why so many people are afraid of the royal family. I really don't get it. Charles played his, oh, I'm sorry. There it is. That's what I was reading. Charles played his Death Watch long game well, but there will be a karma accounting someday for all the backstabbing and shadiness. Oh, yeah. And you know that's going to come from William. You know William is going to be the one to really sock it to him in the end, because William's going to get tired of waiting just like he is, or he was. Okay, so right here you can see, oh boy. So Lady Susan was married to the late BBC chairman Marmaduke Hussey. Her daughter, Lady Catherine Brooke, is a close friend of the Queen Consort and has just been appointed one of Camilla's 6 Queen's companions. So there's Lady Hussey in the back row on the left with Marmaduke. Godson William confirmation. So she was at the confirmation for William, and there, I believe that's her back there in, let me see, it said second from the left. Is that our left or their left? Because I'm thinking it's the one with the red on, but maybe it's the one with the green. But yeah, they said second from the left. So there you go. That just goes to show you how deep into that family her position is. Dr. Shola says, BS. So Lady Susan Hussey got to resign. Did I do this one twice? I think I did. Got to resign instead of being fired from her racially motivated violation of Ngozi Fulani. Yeah, I did that one already. Okay. All right, you guys. So let's go on to this guy. As you know, the other day, we had the pleasure of hearing Meghan's name in a rap song. And this gentleman was just like, hey, leave her alone. And I want you to hear in his own words how he explains or why or how he came to that conclusion that you ought to just leave her alone. So wait for that. Here we go. I hope this doesn't skip on me.
The Meghan lyric, that is the most genuine, just leave her alone. It's not political, it's not rooted in it's just a genuine leave her alone, just leave her alone. You know, like if you was at a bar or you was at a party,
someone was getting harassed,
you saw someone and it's just leave her alone,
But also you have some experience in that, right? Because at the end of the day, like I said, you've been put on a pedestal, bro, for most of your career. You have millions of fans around the world, but you also know what it is to feel like the trade is close.
Yeah.
It's intense.
It's intense, yeah. It's super intense. And that's why I really wanted to, I wanted to say that. I didn't know I wanted to say that, but when I said it, I was like, yeah, I want to say that.
Well, you summed it up beautifully when you talked about, in your words, bro, and I'm not gonna butcher them, but something to the extent of what it is to ultimately not be your home, to be welcomed into a home, but not know how to speak in that environment, because it's not your natural environment. But be under so much scrutiny, it's just like, where do you turn?
Where do you turn? Yeah.
Not at all salacious or it'll be a headline, bro. You know that, but it's not written from that perspective. You can tell. It's like base level human experience level moment, right?
Just leave her alone, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's how, as in and there's been a few moments in my life, in my actual reality, where I've had to say yo, leave him alone or leave her alone, and that was one of the moments just on wax. A lot of the time, I'm just saying some shit that I felt on the day. Perfect examples, leave Meghan alone. What the British tabloids will do with that is insane. And it's no, just leave her alone. Forget that she's the royal whatever. That's a woman just going about her life with her husband and has a kid.
Trying to figure it out.
You lot are just nasty and just being nasty to the woman, clear as day, leave her alone. And there was, Stormzy stands by, and it's I guess I did, but sometimes what people can turn the things I say to, but it's not a burden or a curse.
So there you have it. They made it very political, but Stormzy, like he would any woman, just leave her alone. And it wasn't, and what I love about it is that it wasn't just limited to this is what I do for women. He says, I've had to say it for guys and for girls, leave them alone. You're out someplace and you see someone's getting out of hand or getting out of pocket. And just the impulse to say that is not based on any political stance. It's not because she's a royal. It's not because of any reason in particular. It's because he sees someone that is going about their day, as he says, got a kid, got a husband. Just leave her alone. It's just a simple appeal, leave her alone. Just that simple. And it was what he felt in that moment. And it's what a lot of people feel quite often. But sometimes you can say it. Sometimes you want to be left alone, so you don't say anything. But the fact that that feeling or that emotion is there, that intention is there, it speaks a lot about the character of people and this idea that the tabloids try to create, that everyone is against Meghan, everybody hates Meghan, everybody's after Meghan. That is what they want you to believe, is that everybody is supposed to hate someone they don't know for no reason because the tabloids say so. And nothing could be further from the truth. And I just want to share this with you um, in this moment because I don't know, just having this conversation, I'm thinking about the leave them alone. And I thought about those women that were on the train. So let me set this up for you guys. They're one of the hate channels who wasn't getting much traction before she was invited over to the UK because she is obviously African American and she has decided that she could make money by attacking Meghan. Was invited to go to the UK and appear, of course, with Dan Wooten. So the premise is that she's just riding on the train. Oh, she accidentally ran into one of the producers from Dan Wooten's news channel. And as she's feeling comfortable as a Black woman, probably in the UK for the first time because of this all expense paid trip, she was supposed to be comfortable to start bashing Meghan. Well, didn't she get the surprise of a life? Well, I tried to add captions to this as best I could. But anyway, I'll let you see it for yourself and I will continue on the other side. When an African American woman who was paid by the British tabloid media and or trolls to go to the UK to bash the Duchess of Sussex, allegedly paid, allegedly to bash the Duchess of Sussex. She goes to the UK and she just happens, they say, to come across a producer of the Dan Wooten show, and they began to bash the Duchess of Sussex, but they were only interrupted because two women, two females that appear to be British women that also seem to have been white women, were not having it. They gave these two the what for. So just to warn you, the video was heavily edited, so it's not a direct, continuous conversation. However, the first lady that spoke, I have highlighted her text in royal blue, and the other woman is in a bright red. And so those were the only words that were highlighted since they were not speaking into a microphone, but the other two were actually recording their session that they just quote unquote happened to meet each other on the train. They were recording this so-called surprise meeting, allegedly surprise meeting on the train with one another. And so these two ladies overheard the conversation and they were having none of it. So it may be difficult to follow. You may want to watch it twice, but here goes.
Well, what about the accusations about the Brits being racist? What did you think about Meghan making that accusation?
That's not absolute nonsense. We described her and the marriage as magical, described her as beautiful. We celebrated the diversity.
I think she wanted to leave from the very beginning.
Well, if you look at her history of sort of social climbing and whatever else, yeah, it would make sense to me.
You should really think about some of the language that you're using. Social climbing.
Sorry.
I found your language.
Then you can leave, lady.
Can I?
I'm not leaving.
Can I?
I'm not leaving. I'm just letting you know.
Don't come over here telling me what I need to do because you're offended.
I'm not telling you what you need to do.
Yes, you just told me what I need to do.
I'm sitting here.
I need to watch my language, is what you said.
She's dealing with centuries.
Look, man, we're
of arcane.
Well, she should have never married into the family.
Why can't she?
Look at this Sun front page from the day she was married. History. Harry and Meg's historic change for monarchy. Get that on camera. The Daily Mail showbiz editor.
Successful woman.
Nothing to do with her being African.
Of any colour. Any woman.
What's me calling her a social climb got her to do with her race?
Pejorative. It's a really nasty.
What are you talking about?
It's like coming across as a victim.
Yes.
Seriously?
You see people as victims. You're a victim of our language. You're getting offended for people having a conversation.
You're a victim of tabloid language. I think people are a victim. You're right there.
You would say that because you're a victim in chief.
Okay, so excuse me. Because the women, it was two women on the train, and I don't even think they knew each other. I couldn't share the video, but I could share the audio. And the two women just spontaneously reacted to this conversation between the show producer and the guests, and they could not contain themselves when they heard these racist tropes being used or this misogynist language being used against the Duchess of Sussex. And I'm sure these women in their day-to-day lives, you know, when these things occur, have probably reacted the same way, but they just don't have the platform to speak out in this way where, you know, more people hear them. But it's probably more people in Britain that feel the same way than there are people that have ever been against Meghan or Prince Harry, for that matter, or Meghan and Harry. This is just an indication that even though they felt that American woman who felt safe to go to Britain, and you know, you could have bought her behind for a nickel, because when she got on that train, she didn't know that was coming. She didn't know that was coming. She got on that train thinking that, oh, I am in Narnia. I can speak my mind. Everybody else feels the same way I feel about Meghan. Well, nothing could have been further from the truth. Not everybody is of that mindset, obviously. And so she was wrong to feel that she would be in a comfortable position to do that, even on the train, even on public, even though they weren't speaking to anybody but each other, herself and the producer. Suddenly she found herself being pushed into the hot seat by these two strangers on the train who, as white women, were speaking up for Meghan, recognizing the racism, recognizing the misogyny, recognizing the hate speech, and calling them out for it. I mean, you could not have expected anything like that as an American going over there with everything that we've seen and everything that we heard, but yet there she was, or there they were, those two ladies speaking out on Meghan's behalf. Now you could barely hear them because they were not directly mic'd up like the other two were, but you could still clearly hear the how upset they were that they're trying to work and commute and mind their business, and then here's this nasty, ridiculous, cruel, mean spirited conversation right in earshot, and they just were not going to take it. Shelly L, thank you so much for the super chat. Me looking at Charles while William gives him side. You're in danger, girl. Yeah. Exactly. Let me see it. Thank you so much for the super chat and watching Royal Sussex. And also, I received a Cash App. I won't say the name, but I'll say HL. Thank you so much for the Cash App. That was about 30 minutes ago, but thank you so much. I saw my phone light up. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you, HL, for watching Royal Sussex. Wow, we've had almost 1,600 people in here. I'm not sure that's a record, but no, I don't think so. I think we've had over 2,000 people, actually. Yeah, 2,000 plus people, which was really cool. Thank you for your participation today. Let me take this photo away. And thank you, Stormzy, for, saying leave her alone. Greatly appreciate it. And yes, I agree with you, Lydia Washington. His skin is flawless. I think I saw that earlier. And speaking of flawless, there is the Duchess and there is the Duke of Sussex. This is from the video, which you've probably seen already. I don't actually have the video downloaded at this time, but this is, of course, from the ad for the Invictus. And there's that great cameo appearance by the Duchess of Sussex at the very end of the video. So if you haven't seen it, I'll try to upload it later. Otherwise, you can look on the other channels. They have it. Okay, and where else? Of course, I was thinking about Berta Sanchez. Well, there is a big storm that hit. There was a big storm that hit in South Florida, Alabama, and Georgia overnight. Warned to brace for more storms, hail the size of tennis balls, dents thousands of cars. So it's been windy here in the Midwest. And as you can see, it looks like the storms are pushing straight into Tornado Alley. Yeah, it's been some big storms. So technically a tornado could happen just about anywhere, but the great open plains of the Midwest and the South and such are very prone to tornadoes. And so just be careful if you live in any of those areas. Be safe, keep everybody else safe. So and Berta Sanchez, I am glad you are safe. I think I saw you on here earlier. So hopefully it'll be a quiet night for you. All right. And with that, guess what, you guys? I'm done. Done. So we are done today. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. It has been a pleasure as usual. And I will see you all tomorrow, of course. Sorry for the late start today. I still got time to run my errand. They shouldn't have told me they were open till 8 o'clock. I will be running up in there at about 7:50. Oh, man. I'll probably be running up in there at about 7:50. Y'all still open? Oh, well. So anyway, thanks, guys. And I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all the contributions. Thank you to the Mod Squad for keeping this a safe space. And thank you for everything. Oh, yeah, and for my stuff on the gift list, you guys. The coffee, I got something in there I have to go and pick up. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Yeah, I think it'll be too late today, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. But yes, but thank you for the Mrs. Fields, the coffee, etc. Sorry about the Mrs. Fields, did not come with a note, so I couldn't reply to you directly, but it is still greatly appreciated. So, oh yeah, and Church Nellie's birthday is tomorrow. I hope we can do something special for Church Nellie, which means I hope I don't forget. Oh, well, thank you for whatever contributions to the wish list. I mean, you guys don't have to do that, and I am so embarrassed by it, but it is fun to get stuff in the mail. I'm like a little kid. It is fun, but I'm just like, should I put down Olympic swimming pool? No, that'd be kind of tacky. But as long as I got coffee, I'm happy. Yeah, so as a matter of fact, that's one of the things I had put into the list yesterday. Let me show you guys. This is wait. Let me show you. I saw this and I shared a picture of it, and so I put it on the wish list, and I'll let you see it. If somebody chooses to, get it, but if not, that's fine. I don't ever want you guys to feel obligated, but let me show you. It is so cute. It is so cute. Oh, there it is. I found it. All right. This is what I added. This is actually like a little sign, and I'm going to hang this by my coffee pot. Coffee, because murder is wrong. So I want to hang that by my coffee pot. I think it's on like a wooden sign, and it's all weathered, like somebody fished it out of a trash heap or something like that. But yeah, I think that is the most adorable thing. Coffee, because murder is wrong. One of my favorites is, as long as I have coffee, the world is a much safer place. Oh man. Well, happy birthday, Church Nellie. I guess the birthday greetings are coming in early. All right, I got to get working on something for Church Nellie's birthday. All right, you guys, thank you so much, and I am going to go. And it is time for Ginge Avenge. And let me see. Connie Bowmer, I actually put the mailing address on the community tab. Well, actually, it's not my home address, but I put the mailing address there. But here, I'll give you the link to the community. Oh, well, let me see the community tab. And so if you want to send like a postcard or something like that, then you will have that opportunity. Let me see. Okay, so I hope this works. That is the link to the community tab where the address is located. And yeah, I hope that works. All right, and let me see here. I will pin that to the top of the chat. And let's see if that works. Yes, it takes you right to that, what do you call it? To that particular, to that particular, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, community tab, whatever. Okay. All right. So I think that's it then. Thank you so much. Here it is. Okay. I'm going to repost that to the community tab. That might even make it easier. Yes, there it is. Royal Sussex. All right. Perfect. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Now, the last word of the day, the absolute last word of the day is happy birthday, Church Nelly. Wishing you health, wealth, and all the best. Thank you, Victoria Fabre. That is it for today. And I am going to second that. Happy birthday, Church Nelly is our last word of the day. And let me see. Oh, Rory, you just got here? Oh, it's okay. All right. Here we go. Cute Gingervenge. Cute Ginger.
I just don't get it. I don't get any of it.
What do you mean? You don't get what?
I don't get why we're so obsessed with these humans that are exactly the same. Like, it could be us four sitting there. I just don't get it.
But are you talking about what you mean as royals or as, like, Kim Kardashian? Because for me, they're becoming celebrities.
Well, yeah, to me, that's all they are.
The Queen
is their celebrity.
For me, is brilliant.
I love the Queen.
No, for duty, responsibility.
She's always worked really hard,
But
hasn't
I would
she?
work hard if the whole country paid for me to have like 12 houses and work really hard.
No, they don't pay for all of the houses. But
just a few.
Of Sussex. This is my own feelings being expressed the only way I know how.